Mr. Chairman, thank you very much. General Dempsey, Secretary Carter, thank you for the opportunity to visit with you this morning. General Dempsey, thank you for your service. Thank you for meeting with me several months ago at Fort Riley. I appreciate the time you extended to me, and I value that conversation. Thank you from Kansans for having in your background advanced degrees from the General Staff and Command College at Fort Leavenworth. We honor your service and are grateful to a grateful nation for it. And Mr. Secretary, I look forward to getting better acquainted with you and welcome the entree that you made this morning that's suggesting that we do that. General, let me start by asking you a question. We've had a conversation that the theme seems to be sequestration, OCO funding. Let me ask you that in the absence of sequestration, can you envision any circumstance in which you would be recommending to the Secretary, to the President, to us as members of Congress, an Army of less than 490,000 men and women in uniform?
Absolutely. I mean, the plan we've got now, even at FY16, takes the active Army to 450,000.
Let me ask it, make sure you understand my question. My question is, in the absence of sequestration, the necessity of what sequestration requires, would you otherwise see a circumstance in which you would be recommending that $450,000 personnel to the Secretary? Is there a scenario in which that would ever look good for the safety and security of our country?
The Chief Staff of the Army and the Secretary have a plan that they have put forward where they say they can meet the national security interest at 450 active, and they have numbers for the Guard and Reserve. And so I have supported them in that. But General Odierno himself would tell you that number is would be at greater risk than a 490 Army. And the question really then, Senator, becomes back to my testimony about the security environment. Where do we want to maintain the kind of forward presence that we have? If the answer to that is we want to be less forward and more at home, we just incur risk. And so, as I said, the Chief Staff of the Army says he can manage the national security strategy at 450. Anything below that, he says he cannot. He'll also tell you that he'd sure like to keep 490, but in the current budget scenario, we can't do that.
Our country is safer at 490 than 450?
It's almost too stark a choice, Senator, to be honest with you. I mean, it's almost a bit like the AT&T commercial. Bigger is better than smaller. I mean, I concede, but the Army can manage the security strategy we have at 450. But if this body were to decide that we would have the resources to stay higher than that, I don't think you'd find any of us saying no, thank you.
Thank you, General. Mr. Secretary, I've been interested in cybersecurity. I appreciate your emphasis. Know that you're out recruiting. One of the things that seems clear to me is the opportunity. You mentioned the reserve in response to the Chairman's question, the National Guard. One of the things that I think those components provide in regard to cybersecurity is personnel that have outside experience, that have the latest technologies and advancements available to them in their day jobs, and then they bring that to protecting our country through the work they do then in the Guard or the Reserve. And I think you confirmed that in response to the Chairman's question about the value of that relationship and what the Guard and Reserve can provide in cybersecurity. Is that true?
You're so right. Absolutely.
Would you explain why that's important to you?
It's important because cyber, it pervades everything we do. None of our equipment or our plans operates properly with any, just like much of the rest of society, without the web. And so having the best technology embedded in our military, defending it so that others can't disrupt it or exploit it, using cyber offensively as necessary and required. These are all important parts of the future of the military, and we have excellent people in both military and civilian full-time, but there's a great untapped not yet fully tapped resource, which is the one that we're talking about, that I completely agree with you. We need to tap in more, which is our Guard and Reserve. A lot of those people are very cyber savvy, and using them to help us in this mission is a great resource.
Mr. Secretary, this, I think, can be close to a yes or no answer. In your better buying power efforts, are you beyond the theoretical demonstration of the value of this program, and are you ready to pursue acquisition to prove that it works, that it's of
Yes.
value?
Yes.
Thank you. Chairman, thank you.
Thank you, Senator.